All right, welcome back to our course. And so let's continue in our previous course. If you haven't watched our previous course, please look out for our first video that we just did on this course. Well, in our previous class, we made sure that at least someone can, we designed our register page where we were displaying our form, but of course this form was being generated from this forms.py file. We created the user registration form, and this is how we imported the forms from Django and all. And we also made sure that on the views.py, on the views.py, we imported that registration, user registration form right up here. And we also rendered it just right down here so that on the register.html, we had our form displayed using the crispy package or library, if I should call it. So in today's class, I would like us to ensure that, but of course, this is how our project looks like. I know someone can enter a username right now, like say maybe King Wanyama, but of course the email could be kingwanyama01@gmail. The password could be maybe, and you see, these are the rules. Your password can't be too similar to your personal information, that is the username. And these are the rules that we are going to follow. Has to be at least 8 characters. But of course, I can even just maybe call these as maybe user 12345, maybe user 12345, confirm password as well, maybe user 12345, like that. So if I click on register, right now nothing happens. Right now, nothing happens. Also, just to take note, when we looked at our URLs inside this project, look at these. We have our /admin right here. And this /admin is taking us to a page that we didn't create by our own. That means it already existed in Django. So that means if I just come right here and add a /admin, I'm going to be taken to this page. But of course, if I logged into this page right now, if I just try to log into this page, I need to have a user registered already as a super user. Now, if you think we are going to register our super user just using this registration page, that is not going to be the case. To create our super user, we are just going to go to our project on the terminal down here. As you can see, my project is already running. Let me just add one more terminal here. So if I want to create a super user right now, I can just run one Python command to create the user, only that right now I know it's going to crash on me, but of course, let's also just make sure that it crashes so we can fix these. So we understand why we will be doing the next command. So if I just run Python manage.py, and we can say, we can say create super user. Python manage.py, create super user, hit enter. So right now it is crashing. It's giving me a bunch of errors right here, but the most the error that gives us sheds some sort of light is this last one here that tells us that there is no such table called auth user. It means we have all along been ignoring a very serious warning from these guys. And this is every time you run your project, you always see this red error. You have 18 unapplied migrations. So these unapplied migrations means whenever you create Django project, Django comes with a super management system behind the scenes, which needs to sort of communicate to a database that is already existent. Like right now, you see we already have this database. The problem is this database doesn't have any table. But as you can see, when we try to create a super user, we are trying to create a super user inside the users table, which doesn't exist. So the very first thing that we were meant to do, even we start doing any other thing. So that means we can just create we can run what we call migrations. So we can simply say Python manage.py, then just say migrate. That's the command. Hit enter, and it should migrate all those tables. So that now we can now repeat these command, python manage.py, create super user, hit enter. And so now it's asking for the username. Yeah. So the username, I can just call this as maybe user one. I mean, I can just create my username as user one, and you have to remember these credentials because we're going to use them to log in. Hit enter. So the email address, let me say this is user one at Gmail or at example.com. Yeah, that's the email address. And the password. So the password, I can just say Wanyama123. You see, I'm typing, but it's appearing like as though I'm not typing anything there, but let me just hit enter because I'm sure it's been written. So confirm password, Wanyama123. And my super user has been created successfully. So just remember the username is user one. Let me see, where is it? User one. User one, this is the username right here. But of course, the password is Wanyama123. Yeah. So quickly, if I just come back to my admin, let me just go /admin. Here, it's asking me for the username. So my username is user one. And the password is Wanyama123. Hit on login, and I'm in business. Looks like I'm in business. So right now, if I just go to my users, and this is the Django administration section. So if I just go to users, right now you'll see I have a user called user one, and this user one has this email. What should I say? This user one has this email, but of course we will learn later on how to update records in the database. But in the meantime, as you can see, this is my user, and with a green badge, it means this guy is an admin, yeah, or a super admin or a super user for that matter, yeah. So if I try to log out, but of course, yeah, I can be given a page to log in again, but I don't want to do that. So let me just go back to my root or my landing page, my register page. So that I want to make sure that when I run a register, when I enter some record here, I can be able to register, or I can be able to add those records onto the database. So quickly, for us to do that is super simple. Let's navigate to our register, our views. Let me just go back to PyCharm. Let's go to our views right here. And here, now we need to just do something very simple for that to work, yeah? And the thing that we are going to implement is this. So we are going to make sure that here, when we have the user registration form, this form, when we are creating the user registration, we need to check if the request that is coming, that means if the form that we are submitting from register, you see, we created this register form. If this form is coming with a method post, that is when we allow to grab the data. Otherwise, we actually ignore everything. So quickly, let's just quickly do that. Okay, so now we just need to check once this has a post is when we try to store the data. So quickly, let's simply say, this form, we are going to put it inside an if statement. So let me let me just say if, if request, this request here, dot method is, I can say in single quotation marks, is a post. Okay, so then this form, I also need to put it inside the if statement. So if request.method is a post, so I need to create a user registration with request.post here. Like that, yeah? Else here, else our form is just going to be empty with nothing, user registration form, like that. Sorry. Just like that. But again, up here, we need to check if this form has been validated by Django. Yeah. So we can simply say if form dot is valid. Yeah. If the form is valid, just save the form. So we can simply say form dot save. Just like that. Yeah. just like that. And so that means after we've saved, we want to have a way of returning messages to the user to see if the saving was successful or not. So quickly, I can just quickly import a messaging package up here. So I can just simply say from Django.contrib import messages. Okay, so that now down here after we've saved, we can now simply say messages. Okay, couple of seconds just to see how to write it. Yeah, messages dot success. Yeah, cool. Then we just need to pass in a request in between here and the message that we are saying. So we can simply say user registered successfully. Yeah, user registered successfully. And that's it. And that's it. So once we have these created, we can quickly just go and confirm, write the display of this message on the base.html. Okay, so yeah, once we just do this, and we just need to simply go and display the message there. But even before we do that, we need to redirect back to that page. And so our register page, if you just look at your URLs, our URLs it's being launched by this path, and the name of the path is called register. So this name, we also need to redirect back to this name. So in our views right here, we can just return and redirect. And by the way, if we want to redirect down here, we also need to import that redirect. So on the Django shortcuts, import render, comma, we can also have redirect right there. So that down here, we can just, after the message has been saved, we can return and redirect back to register. And you can see it can even auto-suggest that name. Yeah, register like that. So quickly, right now, if I just try to now go and try to save this, let me refresh quickly. Is it even running? Let me see. Yeah, it's running. So quickly, let me enter now the name. Maybe let me call this as user2. My email is maybe user2 at example or at gmail, whichever.com. And the password is Wanyama123 once again, Wanyama123. If I just click on register, I know this is going to be registered. I know for sure, but we haven't even displayed those messages yet. So even before I just click on submit, yeah, before I click on submit, I can just try to display the message. But of course, let's just save this. Then the next record, we are going to display the message. So if I click on save, yeah, I know it's been saved successfully, but let's implement the messaging fast, quickly. So you see, we are rendering the messages. These messages, we are sending them on the register page. So we can go and display the messages on the register page here. But remember, the register page is also extending this base.html. It means we can actually be displaying our messages inside the base.html so that regardless of where we are on the system, the messages can appear. So on the base.html, just write, write where? Just write before or just before the block content up here, I can display my messages here. So I can just use the Ginger templating and I can say if. Yeah, if I can even just use this second if so that I can end if. So if messages, okay, that is if there are messages coming, and these messages is coming from these views where we have these messages. So I'm using these messages right on the base.html here. So that now I can write a for loop. So I can simply use Ginger, say for, I can use for loop. So I can say for message in messages. Messages, I can just display a message. So I can even use a paragraph and I can display message inside here. And this paragraph, I can give it a bootstrap class as well. Maybe text, maybe success, text success. And maybe we can also say text center, something like that. Okay, let's go try to save another user. Yeah, everything is running. Everything looks good. So let's try to save another one, user 3. Email is user 3. Then password is Wanyama 123, Wanyama 123, and register that. And look at that. We have a message up there as user registered successfully, and everything is working perfectly. Okay, such that if I just go to the admin, and I log in with user 1, you remember our user 1, and the password is Wanyama123. Login, and here if I go to users, look at that. I have user 1, user 3, user 2 right there. And these guys are just normal users. They are not admins or super admins. So right now, at least we have made sure that we have, right now we have a register working. So can we quickly also implement a login? Because if someone can register, then they need to be able to log in as well. So that's quite simple because that is a system that has already been implemented in Django. So let me just go back to here. And so I want to have a login, and so that means we have to link this button as well. And so quickly down here on our login.html page. So this login.html page is similar to our register. Nothing changes except a few details. So on the register page, remember the form is dynamic. This form, we are just printing it from Django. So can we just copy everything here? Like, as a matter of fact, let me just select everything, right click, and just copy these and take it to login. Just select everything here and remove, then paste whatever you came with from the other side. And here on the login, we can just change this to login here. And what else? And so in fact, instead of saying join today, we can say maybe start session, maybe something. And on this submit button, instead of saying register, we can say login. And that's it. So this is our register.html page. But remember, on the URLs, we need to have a URL for going to a register page. Now, because we are going to use the Django login views, or auth views, so it is going to conflict with our views right here. So it is just good enough that we juxtapose between these, So we can just simply say from .import views as maybe user underscore views, so that now down here I can just use now user views, so that now if I import other views from Django, there is no conflict. So that now here I can import other views and say, but of course, once we change this, nothing else changes. Everything is working, only that we are importing these views as a variable that we can use down here. That's all, So, and down here, we can also just import, we can simply say from Django.contrib.auth. We can also import views. You see, we were almost conflicting ourselves because this is also called views and this is also called views. So without adding an as variable, it was almost going to be a conflict. So then we can say as maybe auth views. So that anytime we want to use our own custom views, we use these. But anytime we want to use the Django views, we can use auth views. So that now down here, we can create a login view. So here, we can just put a comma. Always remember that there's a comma here at the end here. So now we can have a path. And this path, so now when someone goes to login, Yeah, you need to finish with a slash. You don't start with a slash. Then, so we can say auth views dot login view, because we want a login view, dot as view. Yeah, login view, as view, then this as view function, so that now we can dictate the template. So the template, we can say template name, template underscore name that we are going to launch is our login page, login.html, like that. Yeah, so login views as view, then the template name is that, then here, comma, so the name that we need to assign to these as well. So we can say name equals to, it'll be login. Yeah, login, just like that, login. So this name and this name can be same, but most of the time we are going to be using these. Yeah, so if you name this differently, just know that every other time we are going to be using this one here and not this one here. The reason is because this is dynamic and this is static. Yeah, so now at least we have that looking good. So that quickly, right now, if we just like come up here, let me refresh this a little bit. And let me just add a slash login up here. Look at that. It is taking me to a login page. Yeah, start session, then it's expecting to have a username and a password, then a button login down there. Look at that. It is automatically asking me to log in, and that's how easy Django does it. I mean, there is nowhere that we created this username and password. Django automatically comes with those. Yeah, Django automatically comes with those. And quickly, so because we want to log in, so you remember we had our user 2 or something like that. And if I just log in, maybe user 2, then the password is Wanyama123. And when I log in, look at that. It logged in successfully, but there is something that is happening. Something that is happening is after the login is successful, look, Django is trying to throw me to this route called accounts/profile. We don't have anything like that on our URLs right here. On our URLs, we only have the login and the register route here. So the thing is this. If we want someone to log in successfully, we want them to be redirected to some nicely looking page we can call homepage. So right here on the templates, can we just create a simple HTML file? We can just call these as maybe home. Okay, then, but of course, we can just remove everything here and we can import, or we can extend base.html, then at block content. So we can also inject a block here. I can use this block content. Okay, a block content is when we can have a h1 and we can say maybe welcome. Yeah, welcome. Then we can even say the name of the user. So immediately we can be able to log in. Django automatically allows us to access this user.name, something like that. So we can say welcome user1 or something like that, or user.email. So that user1.gmail at gmail.something. So right now I just want to display user.name. So we want to make sure that when someone logs in successfully, they can access this homepage. Yeah, they can access the homepage right here. And so quickly, right now, if we want that particular thing to happen, we can easily just come to the URLs and create a link that gets someone to a homepage. So, but of course, down here, let me just put a comma, enter. So let me have a path for the homepage. Okay, this path, you can say maybe home / so that now home, this is going to be user views dot, but of course we also need to have a function that does this. We haven't done this. You see on user views we have register, but again on home we can also have maybe a function just called home, but of course we are going to create this home comma and the name equals to, you can say also home. So this is what we are always going to be using most of the time. Okay, so let's go and create this function called home on our views. on our views, because right now we only have register here. As you can see, we just have register. So here, we can just come down here and we can define a function called home. Yeah, then it also needs to have a request. Then this one is just going to return a render, and it's going to we pass in a request as well. And this is going to have the home.html, and that's it. That's it. Yeah. So everything looks perfectly fine. Sorry, everything looks perfectly fine. Yeah. Everything looks perfectly fine. So quickly, when someone goes to a slash on the URLs, when someone goes to /home, they are going to hit our home function inside the views. And our user views is our views here from these views.py. Yeah, see, so we are going to just hit this home. So right now, if someone tries to hit on home, let me just see, /home up here. Look at that, welcome. But again, it needs to tell me some name there, but I'm gonna figure out what that is. But in the meantime, let's just try to log in again. So if someone tries to log in, yeah, if someone tries to log in right now, we need to redirect them to the home page. But you see, technically, when someone is logging in here, I mean, our Django is automatically redirecting us to accounts up there, which is not right. So for us to make sure that everything is working as we desire, is we simply need to go to the settings up here, and on the settings, we can just add a property down here, a property here. So we can add a property, let's say login redirect URL. Yeah, once someone has logged in, redirect them to home. Just like that. Redirect them to home. Yeah, when someone has logged in successfully, just redirect them to home. So that now we can try again. So this is user 2. And the password is Wanyama123, login. And they are coming to home. Yeah, let me quickly figure out why this is not displaying the name of the user when they log in. Okay, so let's just quickly figure out why this is not displaying the way we wish it to display. Yeah, this is not name, it is username. Look at that, it is username. Yeah, so right now, if I just refreshed and boom, yeah, welcome user 2, and everything is working super fine. So right now, as far as we are concerned, someone can be able to register and someone can be able to log in. So let's quickly also deal with the logout. So if someone is going to log out, we can also just implement. Yeah, we can implement a logout. We can implement a logout page as well. So can we just create a new HTML file? Let's call this as logout. Like this. Can we copy everything that is on the whichever? Register or login. We can even just come to login, select everything that is here, copy that, and we can just take it to our logout page. So let me remove everything from here and paste the entire code there. So for us to edit here, we are simply going to, we can just say maybe, we can actually remove everything that is here except the H1. So I can just select everything here. I can remove this div, okay? And yeah, remove that div. And here on this H1, we can even just call it as, this one, we can even just call it as logout section. And this is logout section container. And here, instead of having a H, okay, H1 is fine. We can actually have a H4, and the text can be, you've been logged out. You've been logged out. Then we can have a link that someone can click to log in again. Okay, an anchor tag here. It's linking to nowhere. In the meantime, when we want to link to nowhere is a hash, then the message is login again. Yeah. log in again. So if someone has logged you out, we may want to log someone in again, but we haven't dealt with that yet. So we can just quickly go and implement the logout as well. So the logout as well. And so quickly we can just go and create a URL for logging out someone. So down here, after the home, we can put a comma. So we can have a path for the logout. Okay, then this is gonna be auth views, Django views dot logout view dot as view. Okay, and the template name, the template underscore name is logout. Yeah, and the name here, name is logout. Yeah, like that. So, I mean, no spaces here. It's not mandatory, but even if you put it there, it doesn't make a difference though. Okay, so the logout is also working fine. So right now, if I just simply say, go here and click, put a /logout. Look at that. It is logging out successfully. It is logging out successfully. And it has a logout page as well. I mean, you've been logged out, log in again. So this one here, I can just quickly give it, I can quickly, where's the logout? Here, I can give it a text center class, maybe text info, okay, then text center. So if I refresh, text center, text info, text center, yeah, and these needs to be at the center of the page, yeah. Again, I know this is working very well, except that yeah, let me also give it a display block. Is it going to work? It's a bootstrap class, not yet. Text info, text center, refresh, not working. So now the thing that we can do is we may, let me see if we just wrap this entire thing inside a center tag. Though this is a bit outdated, but if I just do that, yeah, it goes to the center. So if I just wrap the, but of course I could also write the CSS. Yeah, as you can see, this is deprecated. Yeah, it's not a really good practice. I don't advise. So you could just write your own CSS to push these at the center. Yeah, you can push that at the center, but I was expecting that this text center was to work, like this one was gotten to the center as well. But I mean, I've wrapped it into a deprecated tag called center and it's working fine. But anyway, if I click on login again, nothing is going to happen because it isn't working right now. So now, as far as I'm concerned, our system, someone can be able to log in, log out, register, log in, and log out. But I just want to mention something as well. I want to mention something very small here. Right now, someone can't be able to navigate through this section up here. So we want when someone clicks on home, they can go to home page. When someone clicks on register, they go to register. When someone clicks on login, they go to login. When someone logs out, they can be able to log out. And so quickly, we can do that on the base.html, right here. So when someone clicks on Django project, so this one, for some reason, they want to go to home page. And so here, they want to go to homepage. And so this one here, we can just put Django Ginger template in here. And so we can redirect the URL to what is the name for the homepage. So in the URLs, the name to go for homepage, to the homepage, this is the name. So this is what we use. So in the base.url here, we can just say home. Okay. And similarly to home here, we can just use Ginger templates here and the URL. we can say, just go to home. That's how you do it. On the about, there's nothing yet. Gallery, not yet. Register. Register, where's the URL that takes us to the register? So on the URLs, the one that takes us to register is this one. It's as much as it doesn't have anything here, but we are just using this register. Yeah. So where's the base.html? Here, the URL is register. And login as well. I know the URL is login. Yeah, if you want to confirm on the URLs, the login one, it is here. The name is login as well, as you can see. And on base.html, so logout as well, the URL is the URL is logout. Sorry, logout. And that should work very well. Also on the login, on the logout.html, here on the logout, when someone wants to log in again, we can just take them to login, like that. And so the URL is login. Cool, everything is working fine. So if I just try to refresh, everything works. If I click on home, it can take me to home. Register can take me to register. Login can take me to login. Logout can take me to logout. Yeah. So now, look at this. If I just click on home, when I have logged out already, there is no name. But let me log in. So let me log in with the user 2. And Wanyama 123, login. Look at welcome user 2. If I go to home, that's it. Go to register, come back to login, it works very well. Go to login, come back to home, works very well. Click on logout, click back home, nothing. So that means logout is actually logging out someone. Yeah, it's actually checking someone out of our system. So the very next thing that I would like us to implement is this. Once someone has logged out, we want to bar them from accessing the home page. Yeah, we want to bar them from accessing the home page, which is very easy now. Yeah, so quickly we can just go to our views, yeah, up here, and we can import that package. So we can simply say from Django dot contrib dot auth dot decorators. Yeah, from django.contrib.auth.decorators, import login required, just like that. So we also need this login required decorator, so that now this login required decorator, we can just append it on the home function. So up here, just on the home function, we can just start with an @ keyword and say login required. It doesn't need to be a function, just needs to be a decorator, like that. So that when someone has logged in, it needs to refresh. Let me say user 2, and the password is Wanyama123, and login. So it works very well. If I click on home, it works. But let me log out, click on home, look at that, it crashes. Why? It's because when you have logged out, when someone clicks on the home page, we are now blocking them from accessing the home page. And instead, they are throwing us to accounts.login. And yet we don't have such like a URL. So quickly, also we need when someone has logged out and they are accessing any other page, we need to redirect someone to the login page before they can access that page. And that we can do in settings, right here in settings. So after the login required, so we can simply say login redirect. This is login. Yeah, login URL. Login URL, we can just say this is login. Yeah, login URL. The login URL is login. So that now, let me come back here. And once I have logged out, if I say go to home, now you see they can redirect me to login. Yeah, just by changing the login URL, now I can be redirected. So login is login, home allows me to still remain to login right up here. But look at when I click to home without permission, it is asking me to log in, but look at the URL. So the next step after I have logged in, it's going to direct me to home. But if I just click on login, there's nothing there. But if I click on home, but of course I want to access home, but it is asking me to log in first before directing me to home. So if I just say this is now user 2, then I can just say Yama 1, 2, 3 and log in. Look at that, user 2. Everything works perfectly fine. If I click on logout, I click on home, it asks me to log in again. So, guys, right now, as far as we are concerned with our course, we've been able to implement. We've been able to implement the register, the login, and the logout. So when someone accesses the homepage, we want to be able to add products, in this case, be able to display those products. And at some point, those of you that are watching from Kenya, we will implement the MPESA API functionality using Django. Yeah. But in the meantime, let me try to log in. Yeah, you see, let me just try to log in using my super admin user. So my super admin user was user 1, the one we created with the command line. Then the password was Wanyama 123. When I log in, look at that. That user 1 has logged in as well, but we created them using the command line. So now that we have logged in this user, what if after logging in here, I change this URL, then I just write there admin. And look at that. That admin is already logged out as well. It's logged in as well. And I can be able to access all the users that are here. All the users that are here. And quickly, if I log out the super admin, then I try to go to my application and I click to home. Look at that. It logged out my user as well. Yeah. So that means we have implemented a system that is already communicating with the Django super admin system. Yeah. So that is user, maybe say whichever, user 1 or user 2, and Wanyama 1, 2, 3, and just log in. Cool. Everything is working fine. So now the very next thing that I would like us to do is I know when someone has logged in here, we want to be able to display, to be able to add products into some kind of a table in the system. But of course we will add those menu items up here, and we want to display those products. We want to delete a product if we wanted to delete a product, and we want to edit, or rather update a product if we wanted. Then later on, we want to integrate the MPESA API, this API. But right now, as it is, I think this video has already gotten too lengthy. Let's stop there and let's meet in our next lecture. Bye-bye for now.